everybody, and welcome to AM Vintage. I'm Adam.
And I'm Adi, and today we're going to be doing a review on the movie
Priscilla.
So please stay tuned.
Hi. What's your name?
Priscilla Boyer.
You like Elvis Presley?
Of course. Who doesn't?
All right, everybody, let's get right into it. Priscilla was written and directed by Sofia Coppola, and it stars Cailee Spaeny as Priscilla and Jacob Elordi as Elvis Presley. We saw Priscilla 2 days ago, so we've had a little bit of time to think about it.
Yeah, and as you could tell, I'm like ready to say my part, but I know Adam and I had our little differences on the film, as we should, because not saying that I'm not a Priscilla fan, I just felt like some things were just, unsaid, and I wish it would have been a little bit more extended, I guess, towards the ending, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, the movie just kind of ends out of nowhere, like a lot of Elvis movies do. But
Yep. So let's talk about the story, right? For those who are not familiar with the film, because you seem to be more the expert on Priscilla. So
the film is written by Sofia Coppola.
A screenplay, right?
Yes, and it's based off of the book Elvis and Me, which was Priscilla's book that came out back in the 80s.
Yes. And I actually thought that was the end of it when I saw it. I was like, well, that's the story, that's it. But for some reason, this one seemed a little bit different. In some instances, not all of it, but just...
Different than
the book, obviously, but also from the movie, the series or whatever it was called in the 80s. I thought...
Yeah, you loved that series.
I do. And it's kind of, like I was telling Adam, it's kind of hard to separate what you already watched. And so maybe that was the issue with me. It could not be with everybody else.
There was a lot more in the miniseries.
I thought, yeah.
They left a lot out.
Yeah, and so I think that was my issue. But again, not saying that this movie wasn't good. I thought it was a decent movie.
The movie wasn't bad, but, the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie, when it was over, I was ready to go see it again. When this movie was over, I said, well, maybe if it comes on cable, I might watch it again. So,
yeah, yeah, it's kind of hard to, but then again, Baz and Sophia have different aesthetics that you have to, you can't judge.
This movie wasn't all flashy and
it wasn't.
It was very,
although I would have liked to see if you would have made the Priscilla movie, I think it would have probably been a little bit different.
Yeah, it would have been a lot brighter.
Yeah.
This movie had like a fog over the whole movie.
Yes.
It was very dimly lit, so.
And maybe it was probably done intentionally, I'm assuming, for the purpose of Priscilla's, story, but.
What did you think about Cailee Spaeny as Priscilla?
I liked her. I really do. As an actress, I think she did a good job. I just, again, I felt myself just comparing her and, of course, the previous star that played her back in the 80s, and I just was like, I think they could have chosen someone better. But that, again, that's just my opinion. But again, she didn't do anything wrong.
I liked her.
You did.
She was my favorite. I think she was my favorite Priscilla so far.
It was really
of the movie Priscillas.
Really?
Yeah, I liked her.
Okay.
I thought she was very believable as Priscilla.
She was. I'm not saying, like I said, she did it well. She played it well, but I think it was just me trying to I'm just so used to the older version that was played in the 80s, and that's probably what stuck to me. Like you said, you mentioned earlier that you really don't remember the one for the 80s.
I remember parts. Parts of the one from the 80s.
Yeah.
And the parts that I remember were not in this movie.
yeah, that is true.
There's a famous part from the Elvis and Me miniseries where Priscilla goes up to Elvis and she says, Elvis, I know you've been worried about your hair. I just saw a photo of Ricky Nelson. Maybe you should, do your hair like him. He's like, damn it, woman. I taught Ricky Nelson everything he knows.
Wait, was that really in
Well, that's how I remember it. So, but that scene was not in the movie.
No. But Cailee, like I said, Cailee did an awesome job. I'm not trying to say she did anything bad. I think she was very believable.
She was believable. Elvis.
But you know what? Before we go to Elvis, I want to say Kate. And like I said, this was my observation. Adam said it wasn't true, but I felt like she was a little bit robotic in the beginning. I don't know. I just felt that way when she was playing the teenager part, but it could just been that she was. You know,
I thought she was very
shy,
believable. Very believable as teenage
baby.
Priscilla.
But I just felt like some of the scenes were a little bit robotic during the conversations that she had between the parents, and then, of course, with who was it? Terry, was it? Yeah. I just felt like just a little bit. Okay, I liked the scenes right after she met Elvis. I did.
And then she goes back to high school, and she's walking through the hallway, and you could see that she's.
So in other words, the transitions between her, getting a little bit older, I did love that. I think she did very well, because she was believable as a teenager, and then of course, she had to turn into a woman. So I think in that case, she was believable.
She was believable.
She was awesome. Yeah.
Jacob Elordi as Elvis Presley, the giant. He was not very believable. Here's what I think. I hate to compare movies, but
who was your favorite?
Austin Butler. When you watch the Elvis movie with Austin Butler, you can tell that this guy did his homework and that he studied hard, and that he probably, when he went home, he was still talking like Elvis. Even after the movie came out, he was still talking like Elvis.
He was.
But Jacob, on the other hand,
again, you have to remember, it wasn't about Elvis. This was about Priscilla.
But he's playing Elvis.
Yeah, but I felt like that wasn't the purpose. Was to put your focus on Priscilla.
Yeah, but if you're playing Elvis, you got to play Elvis.
Yeah,
and I felt like he, maybe a week before the movie started rolling, he's like, well, I better do my homework.
And some scenes you could tell, and it was just me noticing you could tell his accent was coming through a little bit. I know he's Australian.
He's Australian.
Yeah, so it just kind of threw me off.
Didn't sound like Elvis to me.
No, it didn't.
So.
But again, the focus wasn't on him. Remember, it was on Priscilla.
It was on Priscilla.
So I think in that sense, you have to just kind of like pass through.
And the movie. So most of this movie is, Elvis and Priscilla meet in Germany.
Yes.
She's 14. He's 24.
Clearly.
They fall in love,
Big gap.
Before he goes back to the United States, back to Graceland, back to make movies.
Yeah.
And she's stuck in Germany for a few years.
2 or 3 years, but yeah.
Just waiting, hoping that she can,
Who does that?
Right.
Apparently she did.
Yeah, well, anybody would. So.
I don't know. I mean, Elvis is, maybe you could call him a little bag of chips, but I want to be waiting for 2 or 3 years. That's too long to be waiting for him.
Anybody should wait. You wait for Elvis as long as possible. Just wait. It's Elvis. Just keep waiting. I'll wait as long as it takes.
I don't know how Priscilla did. Honestly, I don't know.
The whole movie, she's waiting.
She is.
Even after they get married.
That's one of the issues.
She's at home. Yeah, she's at Graceland.
Yes.
And Elvis is off making movies.
Very redundant.
Hanging out with Hollywood.
The waiting was redundant.
Scarlett.
Yes, I have to say the waiting and the gloominess was very redundant. I felt like that's all. It was just the waiting game. It's just they could have just cut that short. And then I thought some scenes were cut short that should have been longer or extended, such as what was the one with the spiritual part of Elvis, I thought?
The spiritual part went too quick because they acted like Elvis found religion and then he was into it for about, 2 weeks until the colonel told him to stop and he burnt the books and then that was it. I mean, that just went by too quick.
Yeah, that was just like...
Everybody knows that Elvis was spiritual his whole life.
All the way through. Yeah, all the way through. Towards the end also, too, he was very... I mean, that was just... I didn't like that scene. I thought it was just very... It was funny to me.
Yeah.
That it was just cut short.
Where's the happy Elvis? That's what I want to know. Elvis was happy sometimes, so.
So this movie did a major part of just, I don't want to say like pretty much painting Elvis in a dark light, but it just seemed like you mentioned, there was a lot of parts that were missing. Like we didn't see any of the good side of Elvis.
No.
And I don't know if that
I mean,
was.
you saw him, having firework fights and
Yeah,
going roller
the
skating.
roller skating, I love that. I love roller
But you didn't really see that, Elvis sense of humor or that Elvis smile or that.
Yeah.
It was like, where's that Elvis charm?
And then some inconsistencies with what Priscilla said based on Elvis, how his temper was, and I don't know. For example, the chair scene. I could be wrong. You guys could correct me, but I felt like when she mentioned in certain interviews that he wasn't really aiming the chair towards her. It was mainly he was just throwing the chair out of reaction because of the Colonel, right? Because he got mad at the Colonel. But this movie kind of made it seem like she was the cause of the chair thrown. So I'm not really sure about that.
But the thing is about this movie is Priscilla didn't make the movie.
No.
Okay, the movie was written and directed by Sofia Coppola.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of blame right now going towards Priscilla.
It is. A lot of
saying that she's ruining Elvis's legacy, or she's putting out all this bad stuff about Elvis right now.
Mm-hmm.
But this book was written in the 80s.
Yeah. And
it was already made into a TV miniseries.
Yeah.
I mean, Sofia Coppola read the book and wanted to make the movie. Priscilla didn't.
But again, who doesn't add things for dramatic effect, right? Because Baz did an awesome job, right? But of course, everything was done out of proportion. Half of the stuff that they did, Elvis, it's made for TV. It's made for people to go and see. Of course, you want to see something exciting. You want to see something boring. But so I don't think that Priscilla should be the one to blame for most of the things that are in this movie.
If somebody came to you and said, "Hey, I want to make a movie about your life from the book that you wrote 40 years ago," are you going to say no? When the director is famous?
Yeah, especially Sofia. She has amazing, obviously she's done other movies, right? That are really, like you said, critically acclaimed.
She did Lost in Translation. She did The Virgin Suicides.
Yeah, among others. So who wouldn't have wanted to have her do your movie?
I don't blame Priscilla
no.
for signing off on the movie.
I don't.
But I'm not a fan of the movie. So,
But before we get into the backlash, we should talk about other characters in the movie that we felt were kind of a little bit off.
Vernon?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like Vernon.
I didn't either.
They never find a good Vernon when they make an Elvis movie.
No.
So.
Like you said, Vernon was a handsome guy. He was a handsome guy.
And I'm not saying this guy wasn't handsome, but he didn't seem like the ladies' man that Vernon,
and what about his wife?
Elvis's stepmother. She seemed believable,
Yeah.
I don't really want to say too much about Elvis's stepmother.
Yeah, I don't really have comments about her. So she pretty much was casted correctly.
But that was just, she was just in a quick, quick scene or two.
Very, yeah.
Very bad. There was, a maid or a housekeeper.
Oh gosh, there was a lot of emphasis.
And then there was Elvis's grandmother.
Yeah, why did we see so much emphasis on that? It was just like
those were like the main people in the house.
Grandma, yeah, and
the Memphis Mafia were just a bunch of goofballs, just like they're always portrayed in every movie.
Which I don't think that's true.
No, I don't think
they did more for Elvis, and probably know more than everybody else, including Priscilla. I hate to say that, but I think they know more of the dirt and the backstories But for some reason, every movie I see, they always portray them as goofballs.
Right, except for the Kurt Russell movie.
Or they're there for the, obviously for the money. And
the Elvis Kurt Russell movie was good when it came to the Memphis Mafia because they actually used some of the Memphis Mafia.
Kurt is awesome, I have to admit.
Kurt was awesome. But the Kurt Russell movie...
I do like Dale, though.
Yeah,
I know I know.
The Kurt Russell movie had Elvis's actual Memphis Mafia in the movie. It had Charlie Hodge, and I think Larry Geller was in it as well.
Yeah. That was the best cast, right? For the Memphis Mafia. Yeah.
The Kurt Russell movie was good casting all around, I think. Yeah, but that movie was kind of dark, and it was made in the late 70s.
And Kurt was to me he seemed natural.
Right. But back to this movie. Yes. Back to Priscilla.
I'm sorry, Kurt.
Right?
We have to get back to this movie. Yeah.
What about the Graceland and how everything
looked? Aesthetics of the movie. So let's talk about the aesthetics. I
liked how Graceland looked.
I did too.
But I didn't
Interior.
like the surroundings of Graceland. You
Yeah,
know,
the-
the house itself was good.
The interior was good. The exterior was a
But
little
I
bit.
didn't really, the yard didn't seem like Graceland to me. And then outside the gate, it was just too far into the country.
Yeah, they lived in.
Yeah.
There was just woods
It
everywhere.
looked like
which,
Elvis just lived in the woods.
Yeah.
So,
which would have been nice. I mean, if you have money like that.
so
you
I
just
mean, I
could
know
get-
back then it wasn't so populated, but it wasn't the woods. So,
No, it wasn't.
anyways,
Well, but I mean, apart from that, other locations such as like the houses that they were partying in Germany. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I feel like most of the movie was in the bedroom, wasn't it?
Yes.
Elvis's bedroom.
Yes.
I thought they did a good job with the bedroom.
Yeah.
Looked good.
Although again with the one-on-one scenes with Priscilla and the intimate scenes with Priscilla and Elvis, that's just to me were questionable. We just have to go about what Priscilla says, right?
I
It
believe what
happened.
Priscilla says.
About the pillow fight. I'm not sure.
Well,
wasn't
I don't know
there.
about that, but what I'm saying is I believe that Elvis and Priscilla waited until.
But for those who do not know, what is the pillow scene, right? They were just
the
basically,
pillow scene is they're having a pillow fight, and it's all fun and games.
Mhm,
And then
until
Priscilla hits Elvis a little bit too hard,
she gets a little rough. Yeah.
and then Elvis wails her with the pillow,
'Cause-
and he says he doesn't want to pillow fight a man, something like that.
So
But,
he ends up hitting her hard.
with the pillow.
Which, again, that's hearsay. I don't know if that happened, if it did.
Everybody's gotten a little out of hand in a pillow fight,
Playing with the woman. I just,
No, yeah, but I don't know. Who knows what happened?
yeah, but that's a lot of the scenes seem to be dragged on in the bedroom, which, like I said, towards the ending, I wish it would have been extended to like the things that happened after the fact. Again, where were the fans at?
Right.
Where was Priscilla at that time? Where was Lisa?
Here's a
at the
spoiler
time?
alert. Ready? We're gonna do a little
Oh, do
spoiler
you-
alert,
I don't
just
know
in
if we
case.
should do
I'm
that.
just gonna let everybody know. Like, if you don't want to know how it ends, then
Well, maybe they already
stop the
do
video.
since they watched the previous.
The movie just ends out of nowhere. Okay, Priscilla leaves Elvis, pulls out the gate, and that's the end of the movie. And it's the Dolly Parton version of "I Will Always Love You" playing,
Love Dolly, but
which that's a good
that's a good
song to
song.
play at that scene.
Choice.
But they should have kept going with the movie. Just ended.
And don't get me started on the music, right? Because we couldn't hear any of the Elvis you mentioned too. I remember some of the songs that were sing supposedly like
That-
Elvis. It was just horrible.
The Elvis impersonator that they used when they used one, when Elvis is playing the piano,
This is how bad, because
it
when
did
you
not
told
sound
me
good. It did not.
when you told
sound
me it was
good.
an Elvis song, I'm like, I didn't even know.
Right.
That's how bad.
Well,
it
Elvis is
sounded.
playing a Jerry Lee Lewis song on piano,
But
and
even Jerry Lee, come on
it did
now.
not sound like Elvis to me.
No. But even like
Mhm.
again, I hate to. I'm not trying to bash Jacob or anything. Elordi, the actor who played Elvis, I just felt like his mannerisms, anything. Again, maybe it could just be that we were just trying to compare him to what Austin did in the previous movie. That was awesome. But I just didn't get the sense that this was Elvis. He wasn't. I didn't buy him as
No.
Elvis, and I wish that maybe Sophia would have picked somebody differently. I'm not saying that. And he was awfully tall.
What about the scene
Like
where
just,
they have him up on the stage and they're filming from behind,
Oh yeah.
and he's doing these Elvis moves,
which
were not good.
No, and it was like again so quick.
It seems like that scene was probably like filmed like in a half hour. It's like they said, you got the Elvis
Do
jumpsuit.
some moves.
We're gonna get behind you. Just do some moves. You learned them yesterday. Austin Butler, he practices for like 2 years. This guy's
Yeah.
like, well, I learned these moves yesterday. Let's do it.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna do Elvis, you really have to do Elvis. I mean, you can't just. I don't know. I just
I
felt
didn't
like
buy
this
it.
movie was just again. Well, if you're gonna be like okay to tell the story right with Priscilla, and I think that it did justice, because if that's, but it was just gloomy to me. I felt like this life was not a happy one.
In the movie,
In the
I feel like
movie.
in real life there was a lot more happiness. So
I hope so, Priscilla. I really
Yeah.
do hope that there was more to this for you than it was in this movie. It was just, like I said, in the series in the 80s, I did not get the whole gloominess and all that.
Right.
Like I felt like it was told like as it should, the story or as biography, but this one seemed really gloomy. And again, the shots were all cloudy.
They were
Just
cloudy.
seemed like very
Which is okay for, here and there. But
for drama, right?
The whole
yeah,
movie.
the dramatic effect it was
Right.
called for, but it just seemed like I don't know.
So if we were Siskel and Ebert, and we have to give this movie a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I'm giving it a thumbs down. I hate to do it,
Yeah, no, and this has nothing to do with Sophia.
I had high hopes.
I like Sophia. I do like Sophia Coppola. I just don't think this was the movie. I mean, she does, but she does her movies well. I'm saying they were shot correctly. There was nothing. It's just, to me, as a Priscilla fan, I think that it just made it seem like she just had a depressing life, and I didn't want to be Priscilla at that time, regardless if it was Elvis. I'm sorry. I hate to say that.
Yeah, I don't like how the movie...
Elvis seemed to me like pretty much I don't want to call him.
He seemed like he was just...
a douche.
Yeah. Which is not true.
Yeah.
Which we all know is not true.
Just, and somewhat, a little bit,
And,
narcissist gaslighting a lot. Seemed like I was just getting that kind of effect from...
I don't believe that
him.
Priscilla actually watched this movie and actually thought that, Jacob Elordi or what's his name? Elordi. I don't think she bought it. But the thing is she signed off on the movie and she's a producer.
But we don't know. You can't.
So,
we don't know, Adam.
She's got to promote the movie.
I say the opposite. I think that she had to be the one to approve this. You have to.
She approved
it's your movie.
She approved it.
But maybe she likes the cast. She did.
But,
and I like the actors too. I just think that this was not... I just didn't like this movie as much. I love Priscilla's, but like I said, I love the 80s version. I could watch. They should have just played that one. They should have just extended to that one, I think.
Yeah, with the guy from Pet Sematary.
Yeah, like Dale.
Dale Midriff. Or what's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that both of these movies we could put...
I know he was a little corny too. I'm not gonna... I mean, he wasn't an Elvis either, but, he just was a little bit more believable, I think, in some scenes, And he was funny. I thought he was funny. Yeah. So yeah, if you're wanting to go see this movie, I urge you guys to go see it. I mean, you can't stop Priscilla
I wouldn't
fans.
urge you to go see it, but if it comes out on TV, then you can check it out.
Yeah, you don't want to waste your money.
Don't waste your money.
Yeah. Just watch the 80s series. You'll probably get a little bit more out of that.
Yeah, go on YouTube.
But we do want to comment on a little bit on the backlash that Priscilla is receiving. I think our heart really goes out to her because I don't think she deserves the things that are happening all around
There's
her.
a lot of
things said.
A lot of Priscilla hate right now.
So much, which a lot of it is part due to Lisa's passing her daughter. I think some of it saying that she's very careless, right? She doesn't care. She doesn't seem like
she's greedy, they say.
She's greedy. Right? She's out for the money. She's, obviously because this movie came out, so she's wanting to make money.
She wants too much control at Graceland.
Yes.
And she's the one that opened Graceland to the public.
Right. So I'm a little confused. As far as her grieving, I don't think anybody grieves the same way. Just because she doesn't shed tears on certain occasions or certain times doesn't mean that she's not dealing with it.
Well, they said that her tears were fake. People were saying her tears were fake, which I don't buy. I think she's really grieving for her daughter.
I think she's done it in private. I don't think that that's something that everybody needs to hear or see, right? I don't think, again, everybody grieves differently. There are people who cry. There are people that don't cry. There are people who scream. There are people who laugh. I guess she's damned if she does and she's damned if she doesn't. So I just want to say that people should just give her a break. She's already lost her mother. She's lost her daughter. She's lost her grandson. I mean, and now, and again, we weren't there when Priscilla was with Elvis. So, I mean, why is everybody coming on like, oh, she's lying? Her stories don't match up. Again, who remembers crap that was said 50 years ago?
Right. I can't remember anything that happened last week. So.
Right. So, I mean,
people were
Stories
saying that,
will
that the
change,
interview
yeah.
on Pierce Morgan, that she was saying things that weren't true about where Lisa Marie was when Elvis died.
Yeah.
And the thing is I don't believe she was lying. People
No.
forget how things go over the years.
And maybe she did say something, and
people.
but then again, you know how people say things over and over and over, and then later on you probably like, did this happen or my story happened? It's like you tend to start believing what everybody else is freaking.
You hear
saying.
other people telling your story, and you start to say, "Oh, maybe that's what happened." So
yeah, that's scary though. But again, you don't remember everything.
something that happened 40-something years ago.
Good Lord.
Everybody's calling her a liar because she, had the place wrong,
And not only that, she is grieving. So half of the crap that's in your brain is not going to, it's not going to come out. I'm sorry. Again, we're with you, Priscilla, and obviously Elvis, but, I just wish people would just lighten up a little bit,
Lighten up on Priscilla,
She is a human being.
She's Lisa Marie's mother.
Right.
So
if we have respect for Lisa, at least we can give her that type of respect. Other than that, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? So we're
Right.
not there to bash anybody else or anything. So, yeah, with that being said.
with that being said, that's our review for Priscilla.
Yes.
With some extra added bonus material, speaking about Priscilla. Isn't that exciting?
Right. Again, everybody, we're just giving an opinion. It's nothing against anybody else. Everybody's entitled to it. So, but yeah, just.
Yeah. Just watch the movie when it comes out on TV, and you don't have to pay for it.
Right. We're just trying to save you some money.
Right. All right.
All right,
well,
guys.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting AM Vintage.
Yeah.
We hope you like and subscribe.
Oh, and be sure to give us some comments, whatever you guys thought. What are your thoughts on the whole
What are your thoughts on Priscilla?
Yeah.
And you know what? Hey, just because we support Priscilla doesn't mean that we still can't be friends with the people that don't.
Right.
Okay? We're all Elvis
it's just
fans.
an opinion. Believe me, Elvis is first. That is the main
Elvis
thing.
is number one.
Right. So, yeah. And I'm just saying, we're just with Priscilla because she is a human being, and because of her, we have Graceland. So, and not necessarily all that and that, right?
Right.
But she was a part of it. So I just want to say, yeah. And the guest house.
The guest house.
Love the guest house.
We love the guest house.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people don't like it. They say the Heartbreak Hotel was the place to go. But,
Yeah.
hey, I loved the Heartbreak Hotel, too. But she's never been there.
Yeah, no. But get ready for our next video because, next few videos.
We're going to Memphis in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so stay tuned and hopefully
Stay
you'll
tuned.
be seeing more of us to come.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take
Thank you
care.
very much.
My baby, she